Okay, yes everyone. There we go. Today we are wearing shorts that love to roll up. No, we are doing let's turn the AC down there. We're doing if I can talk, we're gonna drive to the gym and I'm gonna ramble about some crap. Probably give some life updates about how everything is going. Now notice my eyes are fixed upon the road. But yeah, so anyway, how are things going? So I'm now firmly into off season, in a health phase. So TRT is a go, and like every single engineered muscle product known to man. Oh, that's a wobbly tripod. Hello. So I'm coached by Tim at the minute, Tim Stewart, and off the back of Bloods, he was basically like, that tripod is going to be hilarious. Off the back of Bloods, he was like, yeah, just, basically run the fucking moon and the earth. Obviously everything had a thought process behind it, but it was still like, okay, we're going to use a lot of different things. So yeah, pretty much any product by Engineered I've got in. So I've got K2D3, the magnesium, the cardiac, hepatic, what else? Some folate, but that's not from Engineered because they don't do folate. Come on, Riz, do some fucking folate for me. I love this junction, and yes, some other things as well that I can't remember off the top of my head. The usual ancillaries, Talmasartan, which has gone up, Proviron, which is kind of an androgen anyway. Well, it impacts or affects the cycle. Guys, let me the fuck out. You're making my video dead. But yeah, so currently TRT. Body weight is holding pretty stably between like 202 to 205. I'm a little bit softer than I was in prep, and mainly that's because of pulling out GH. You just don't kind of carry the same fullness, or in my case, dryness. Guys, I swear to fucking God, we're gonna throw hands. But yeah, so current plan is health phase. And ECG, I've got the test results coming through on that in a couple of weeks' time. And basically that's just gonna tell us what kind of could be going on with the blood pressure issues that I've experienced, because they did just kind of come out of nowhere, which is a little bit odd. But yeah, so we'll obviously kind of see where that sits. My blood pressure tends to bounce around a little bit, so we think it's anxiety related. So obviously we'll kind of wait to hear back and see if that's the case and what's going on there. But yeah, I'm currently on the way to do upper one. Hopefully, if I've done this correctly, you'll be seeing the clips already on the screen. But yeah, just kind of giving an update of where I'm at. So health phase for the foreseeable future. We're gonna run some tests, see where things are at, and then go from there. The main concern, obviously, with kind of cardiac issues is one, underlying genetic issues, which you kind of can't really prepare for. It's just like, damn bro, that's unfortunate. Or it's left ventricular hypertrophy, which is where, funnily enough, the left ventricle of your heart grows. Caught ya? We'll leave that in, that's so sound. But yeah, the left ventricle of your heart, one of the chambers of your heart grows, and then that's not good, fun fact. So if that's the case, then it's probably gonna be a case of no more androgens and just kind of like TRT for a good amount of time, get myself into a good spot, come off of TRT, and then go from there. This camera setup is shit. And yeah, we'll see. Unlikely, because I've not been a twat with things, but we'll see. I've moved from 5 meals to 4 meals, and food is currently at 3.6 every single day. Keeping food the same daily, just because it's so much easier to prep, man. So much easier. Training day, rest day food, I don't mind in a deficit, but like, oh man, does it make meal prep such a fucking arse. You're just like looking things up. Whereas I can remember what my meals are if I've got the same meals every single day. I've reduced down to 4 because my appetite's getting a little bit shot, and it's just easier mentally to eat 4 times a day. Now, previous meal timings were 9, 12, 3, 6, 9. They're now 8, 12, 4, 8. So yeah, they're going along nicely. Fluid still at 5 litres, still 5 grams of salt. Nothing changed in that regard. And then training 4 times a week, 5 to 6 lots of cardio, depending on time, at 140 or so BPM, on the stairs, 20 minutes a piece, so 100 to 120 minutes. And then steps have been dropped from like 12k to 9k, again just as man's getting busier. But yeah, all in all, things are going pretty sound. I'm still growing, still at all-time strength. The kind of main difference between utilizing PDs and being on TRT is, well, really one thing. I was going to say two things. Really, it's one thing. Drive to train is definitely lowered. So kind of I'm really enjoying like feeling and sensation and kind of, yeah, like mind muscle connection, etc. So I've got a little bit of like sets at the minute that I call like really high stimulus sets, where I'm still progressing them, but I'm really focused on sensation just because it's nicer and more fun at the minute. Whereas kind of more on cycly, typically I tend to kind of be like, I want to shift load across the board. And so I still do a little bit of that, because I'm not going to suddenly start to pull back on that, and I'm not going to suddenly, you know, reset all those lifts when, you know, I've worked them up for so long. But definitely, you know, oh, this car's fucking getting annoyed at me, so I'm driving slowly because I don't want my tripod to fall over. Of course it's a Tesla. Come on, brother. Where I live, there's so many fucking Teslas. They're actually everywhere. It's nuts. To be fair, maybe I'll stick you to my dash next time. Please don't fall on me. Fuck, what was I saying? We may never know. But yeah, there's still like a few lifts where I'm like, okay, well, I've built these up with the intention of being like a bit more aggressive with load and that sound. So I kind of keep them as is. But some of the newer stuff, I'm a bit more like chilled out. I tried to do a mix. So for example, like pressing, first set especially, because Tim has actually got me doing a lot of like, my volume is at a decent level, but volume per exercise is pretty much like kind of, I hate to say top set back off, but it kind of is. It's a lot of 5 to 8 and then 8 to 12 on a lot of different lifts, 2 sets. And it's quite fun because it's been a minute since I did that kind of like way of layering things out. So usually those lower rep ranges, if I can get away with it pain-free, I will be a bit more aggressive with loading, and then second set a bit more feel focused, while still progressing obviously. I'm not going like fucking just chase the pump, bro. Oh, please don't fall on me. But say for like a press or something where there's good capacity to load, usually like compound multi-joint movements, I'm being a bit more aggressive with load, whereas like on a fly I'm being a bit more sensible with loading. I'm being a bit more like, I really want to feel this. Same thing with like hamstrings, like my standing ham curl, seated ham curl, lying ham curl, because I do all three. It's like, okay, you know, how much sensation can I drive through this while still progressing? Really make sure that like my movement is dialed, ROM is good, maybe even pause the start and end of every rep. Whereas, you know, a hinge, it's like, yeah, I'm trying to like, you know, from a joint perspective, keep things fairly consistent and similar and fairly ham dominant, but I just need to kind of fail and progress it. And yeah, like that kind of at the minute is enjoyable. Not having every single lift be utterly horribly taxing. It's quite a nice, it's got a nice ebb and flow to the session, right? So it's like you kind of go in, for upper, it's like bigger movements first. And then when you start to kind of get tired, it's then a bit more like, okay, we've now got slightly more sets, slightly more sensation, just kind of like enjoying movement rather than getting myself super duper amped and trying to lift as heavy as possible and like, you know, getting really fucking fired up. And then on legs, it's kind of the inverse. It's like you start off, you kind of build up with those smaller patterns, focus on sensation, get all the joints going, and then end with like, you know, some evil sets. But that being said, you know, it does vary lift to lift. So for example, for me, quads, there's still a little bit of like knee pain present that, you know, it can occur if I'm a bit silly with loading, or if I'm just not overly cautious with loading. So in that instance, it is a bit more like, okay, yeah, I still want to get like 4 or 5 plates minimum on the leg press, but I want to be feeling that fucker. Like I need a skin splitting pump. And if I'm not getting that, I'll be like, okay, well, I need to adjust something here. But yeah, that's kind of the current setup. So not too many changes. The 4 meals is nice. and not too kind of overwhelming. Also because I've been having a bit more of a kind of social life recently, which is nice. So going out, seeing people, after I'm done working, I clock off at about 7, I usually clock on about 9. And like after 7, it's like, okay, I've got like one meal to go, I've got some fluid to get in, I've got some steps to get in. So typically what I do is I go to the pub with my mates, I get a club soda, or I just bring my fucking water, bring my meal, and like if I walk to the pub and walk back, steps ticked. If I drink soda water or drink my water, fluid ticked. If I get back for like 10 or 11 and get to bed, then that's sleep ticked. So it's like either I can sit on my Todd and goon, no I'm kidding, I can just like sit on my Todd and fucking do nothing and be a bit bored, or I can go and see my mates for a little bit, even if it's like, 7 till 10, it's still like, it's a nice 3 hours, and then you get back and you've ticked all the boxes and it's like, cool, we go again. And then obviously if I want to stay out, then I can. If I want to have a drink, then I can. And if I want to have food, then I can. But I also feel like exposing yourself to social situations as a bodybuilder is good, because you should have a capacity and an ability to be like, I'm surrounded by pizza and I'm still going to eat chicken and rice. Because there will be life situations like that. There will be life situations of, oh, everyone's getting on the beers and I can't really drink in this phase. Like, that's fine. Having an ability to deal with that is fantastic. If you can do a Kevin Larone and you can live in a box, okay? But that's very fucking easy to do. Like, it would be miserable, but it would be so easy. Do you know how easy bodybuilding would be if you literally had no life outside of it? Like during lockdown, that's pretty much what I did, because there was no social life to be had because you're in lockdown. And it was like, bodybuilding was piss easy. It was literally like sleep 11 hours, so I had fuck all else to do, eat my meals because I had fuck all else to do, go for a walk, fuck all else to do, like go for a little run to get my cardio in, and then train. And like, it made things so easy, but also it wasn't like a nice space to be mentally. And now I would rather, fucking hell, 2 cyclists, are you kidding? Now I would rather like trade off some of the ease for those social events. And also another thing as well, why it's good to practice social events as a bodybuilder, is it sets expectations. Like, if I pull up to the pub, no one expects me to drink. They expect me to like bring my food. They expect me to be a bodybuilder, right? And that's nice, because then with those friendships and relationships, it's not like I don't have an expectation of pressure. People don't go, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, because it's like, no, I've done this for years. Like, this is what's expected. It's the same thing at uni. In first year, there was pressure. Second year, less pressure. By third year, people were just happy that I was going to shit and just be like, hey man, it's nice to see you. Yeah, you're getting your Tupperware out standard. And then you run into new people and they're like, is he eating out Tupperware? And they'll be like, yeah, he does that every time. Like, it makes life a lot easier because there is no pressure. People aren't like, oh, you're not going to drink, you're not going to do that. And if you only go out with people when you're going out, when you're going out, hitting up in the clubs and shit, then that's the expectation. It's like, oh, well, you're Jack. Every time we see you, you're fucking on the pints. So you're Jack. Why aren't you on the pints? Like, whereas if every time we see you, you're Jack, you're eating out of Tupperware. That's what Jack does. So you're eating out of Tupperware. Like, I don't care. Like, people are just happy to see you. They know what they're getting themselves in for. So even in an off season, I would still heavily advise you to make sure that you are, engaging in social events and getting that practice in. But yeah, anyway, that's enough of my ramble. I'm going to end things off here because I do actually want to listen to some music and actually get myself hyped for this session that hopefully I've recorded, so we'll see how that goes. Cheers everyone for watching. If there is anything that you want to see from me in terms of, I'm trying to do a bit more behind the scenes-y stuff here on the YouTube, but yeah, if there is anything that you do want to see from me, obviously let me know. Day of eating, day in the life, they're a bit fucking tedious to do, but if someone asks for it, then I'll probably be more inclined to do it. If there's any questions or anything that you want to ask about down below, then let me know. But yeah, bodybuilding is full steam ahead. Things are going good. I'm enjoying the process. I mean, I'm still at like my all-time most muscular and strongest, which is fucking sound. It's just going to be figuring out if androgens go back in and we progress through them, or if we don't, and that is fine. I think things will be sound. But it's one of those things where, you'd be an idiot to just assume it's fine and then crack on. That's not how we do things around here. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This is where I can't actually stop the video because I'm driving, so I'm just going to edit a thing here. In fact, I will say, if you do want coaching, if you want to get coached by me, link is down below. You'll notice that there's a little kind of form to fill out. They'll just ask you a couple of questions and I'll get in contact off the back of that. If you want my Instagram, it's Jack_Archer Academy. Hopefully I put a flashy graphic on screen. Who knows if I can be asked, because I'll be the one editing this. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good one. Goodbye.